At 3 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message that was meant to hurt. A photo first, a nightclub blur, her mouth on some guy's mouth, strobe lights and sweat and the kind of confidence people borrow for one night when they want to feel untouchable. Then the text landed like a stamp on an envelope. I just met my real soulmate. Goodbye, loser. I stared at it with one eye half open, the room dark, my brain still heavy with sleep. For a second, I waited for my body to do the usual things. The rush of heat, the spike of panic, the urge to call, to demand, to fix. None of that showed up. What showed up was relief. A quiet, clean feeling, like someone finally admitted out loud what I'd been pretending not to notice. For 3 years, I'd been a utility bill with a heartbeat, not a boyfriend, not a partner, infrastructure. I paid the rent on our 2-bedroom downtown because I wanted us stable. I kept the car insurance on autopay because I didn't want surprises. I tracked the credit card balance, mostly hers, because she called numbers stressful and I called them real. I stocked the fridge. I scheduled the dentist appointments. I made sure we never ran out of anything except respect. And like any foundation, I was only noticed when she felt like leaving. Her name was Jessica. 26 going on forever. She lived like the world owed her a better version of itself. She worked part-time doing social media for a boutique that survived on vibes and discount codes, which meant she spent most of her day online, curating a life that looked louder than it was. Meanwhile, I was pulling 60-hour weeks in logistics management, solving real problems with real consequences, then coming home to a sink full of dishes and a girlfriend who sighed when I asked how her day went. The cracks didn't arrive in one dramatic moment. They arrived like hairline fractures. Small comments, small dismissals, small rewrites of the story where I was always the dull part. 2 days before the text on a Tuesday night, I came home at 8, exhausted in that specific way where your eyes feel gritty and your thoughts come in slow motion. Jessica was perched on the kitchen counter scrolling, half a glass of wine beside her. I said hey and asked if she ate. She said she ordered sushi. There wasn't enough for me. She didn't know when I'd be back. I looked at the empty containers and felt something in me go quiet. Not anger, not sadness. A kind of recognition. I made a sandwich, stale bread, the last of the mustard, ham that smelled slightly too sweet. I was standing there spreading it like a man building a life out of crumbs when she finally looked up. Her face wasn't cruel. It was bored. The kind of boredom that tells you someone has already checked out. They're just waiting for a reason to blame you for it. She asked if this was it. The sandwich, the apartment, the routine. Me coming home tired, eating, sleeping. She said it was gray. It was. I told her it was called working. I told her I was tired because I was paying for the life she liked to post about. She rolled her eyes and said it wasn't about money. It was about spark. Fire. She said I acted like I was 40. She said I was safe, predictable, boring. Then she said the line that finally made my jaw go still. She said I made her feel like she was sitting in a waiting room. She walked into the bedroom and slammed the door. I ate the sandwich over the sink, and for the first time in 3 years, I didn't apologize for keeping the lights on. Friday came and my week was a grinder. A shipment was stuck. Clients were furious. Brokers were blaming everyone except themselves. I got home with my brain buzzing and my shoulders locked. Jessica was dressed for a night out. Short black dress, perfect hair, makeup like armor. She looked electric, the way people look when they're about to spend money they don't have on attention they don't deserve. "Girls' night?" she announced. "Don't wait up." I said I wasn't planning to. I was dead on my feet. She looked at me with that same mixture of pity and irritation, like my exhaustion was a personal inconvenience. She grabbed her clutch and told me to try to have a pulse while she was gone. Then she walked out without a goodbye. I locked the door, stripped off my work clothes, and fell into bed. It was 9:30 p.m. I didn't know it yet, but that was the last time I would ever sleep in that apartment as her boyfriend. When the message came at 3 a.m., I read it twice. Then I did the most insulting thing I could have done to someone who wanted a reaction. I turned my phone to silent and went back to sleep. Not the sleep of someone defeated, the sleep of someone released. I woke up at 8 without an alarm, clear-headed in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. The apartment was silent, her side of the bed untouched. I made coffee and drank it by the window, watching the city wake up, and I felt something settle in my chest. A decision, not a dramatic one, a practical one. I pulled suitcases down from the closet. I packed light, the way you pack when you're not sentimental anymore. Clothes, documents, laptop, chargers, a few items that were mine before her. I didn't want the furniture. I didn't want the plates. I didn't want the television she insisted we needed because it looked good in photos. I wanted freedom, and freedom travels best without extra weight. Then I opened my laptop. We had a joint account, funded mostly by me because she said managing money gave her anxiety, and I said overdraft fees give me anxiety. I transferred my money out. Every dollar that belonged to my labor and my time and my sanity. Then I went to the credit card portal and saw the pending charges from the night she called me a loser. Velvet room, Uber Black, bottle service. She financed her betrayal on my dime. I reported the card she carried as lost. It canceled instantly. No dramatic phone calls, no speeches. No, just a click and a system doing what systems do. Then I called the landlord. I invoked the lease break clause. It cost money, a painful amount, but I paid it like a man buying his life back. I had my name removed effective immediately. By 10 in the morning, I was done. I set my spare key on the counter. I wrote a note on a yellow sticky pad. One word. Congratulations. Not because I wished her well, because she wanted a soulmate with fire, and now she could go chase flames without my house catching. I walked out, locked the door, and drove to a hotel downtown. I checked in. I ordered breakfast. I ate slowly, enjoying the strange luxury of a quiet meal without someone complaining that calm feels boring. At noon, my phone started buzzing. Jessica. I let it ring. It rang again. Then came the texts, then another call. I answered on the fourth attempt because I was curious, not because I cared. Her voice wasn't angry. It was panicked. Wind noise, traffic. The shaky sound of someone realizing consequences aren't aesthetic. "Where are you?" she demanded. "My card isn't working." It declined. "I'm stranded in a dress and heels. Send me an Uber. Something is wrong with the bank." I cut a piece of sausage and chewed like I had all the time in the world. "Where's your soulmate?" I asked. Silence. Then a fresh wave of sobbing, uglier this time. She said he'd left. She woke up at a hotel and he was gone. Checked out. Blocked her. Left her with the bill. Of course he did. He was a stranger in a club. She was a convenient story until morning. That is how those nights end when you confuse attention with love. She started begging then, apologizing, saying she didn't mean it, saying she was drunk, saying it was a mistake, saying she loved me. The words sounded like props. I told her she didn't love me. I told her she loved that I paid for her life. She said I was punishing her. I told her I was listening to her. She called me boring and said goodbye. So I believed her. Then I said the part that made her voice crack into something sharp and small. I moved out. The lease is in your name now. The joint account is closed. The cards are canceled. Her breathing turned into angry little bursts. She said I couldn't do that. She said she had no money. How was she supposed to pay rent? How was she supposed to get home? I said maybe the guy with the fire could help. Maybe he had a bus pass. She switched from panic to rage like flipping a switch. She called me a psychopath. She said I was abandoning her. She said I was cruel. I reminded her what she typed at 3 a.m. Goodbye, loser. Then I said the cleanest thing I could say. You have the wrong number. And I hung up. I blocked her. Then I took another bite of breakfast. It tasted better than it should have, which felt like justice. Blocking Jessica didn't stop the noise. It just redirected it. Her best friend called. Her best friend's husband texted. Then her mother came in hot with threats and moral outrage, like I had kicked a saint into the street instead of stepping away from a woman who photographed her own betrayal and sent it like a trophy. I realized quickly Jessica had spun a story where I was the villain who snapped for no reason. She was protecting her reputation while trying to destroy mine. So I did the only thing that works against a fake narrative. I used the truth. No paragraphs, no arguing, no character defense. I sent one screenshot, the message, the photo, the words she chose. Then I posted a single line in the group chat where all the flying monkeys gathered. Since everyone is asking, Jessica ended things last night to be with her soulmate. I respected her decision. Please direct questions to him. Silence. Typing bubbles appeared and disappeared like people testing excuses and finding none. Her mother stopped calling. Her best friend stopped texting. It turns out even the loudest defenders struggle when the evidence is a time-stamped confession. 2 weeks later, the landlord emailed a courtesy message. Jessica didn't pay rent. Eviction proceedings started. The unit was a mess. Garbage. Stains. The kind of decay that shows up when someone's life depends on a host and the host leaves. She moved back in with her parents in the suburbs. The very outcome she used to talk about like it was a fate worse than death. I didn't celebrate. I just noted it as another pattern completing itself. 90 days is how long it took for my body to stop expecting chaos. 3 months and my sleep was deep again. My bank account was growing again. I moved into a loft closer to work, exposed brick and quiet mornings. I started going to the gym 4 days a week. My life stopped feeling like a constant compromise. On a Sunday morning, I was at a coffee shop reading the news when I felt a shadow over my table. I looked up and there she was. Not the electric club version. Not the glossy social media version. A tired version. Roots showing, sweatpants. A face that looked like it had been arguing with reality for a while and losing. She said my name softly, like softness could rewind time. I didn't stand. I didn't smile. I just looked at her over the rim of my cup. She said she saw my car outside and wanted to check on me. I told her I was doing great. Then I asked what she wanted. She flinched, like directness was cruelty. She said she wanted to apologize properly. She said her life was a disaster. She said she had nobody. She said she missed us. She said she missed her best friend. She asked if we could just get coffee and start over. I watched her wait for the old reflex in me. The fixing instinct, the stabilizing instinct. The part of me that used to take responsibility for her emotions. It didn't show up. I told her she didn't lose anything. She threw it away. I told her cheating isn't a mistake. It's a series of choices. Choices to go out. Choices to kiss someone else. Choices to type goodbye and press send. She started crying. The shop got quiet around us in that subtle way people pretend not to watch. She said everyone makes mistakes. I stood up, slow. I told her I chose to believe her. She reached for my arm. Her fingers felt familiar, and that familiarity felt like a trap. I looked down until she let go. I told her the truth she didn't want. She didn't want me. She wanted the rent paid. She wanted the safety. She wanted the foundation back under her feet. And that is the thing about safety. Once you burn the shelter down, you don't get to complain about the rain. She asked if that was it. If 3 years meant nothing. I told her it meant a lesson. Then I walked out into the sunlight. I didn't check if she was watching. I didn't care. I got into my car, turned on the radio, and drove away. For the first time in a long time, my life was quiet. And it was mine. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, subscribe and share what you would have done.